Today, our topic is Awareness on OSHAD System Framework version 3.1. The discussion points include OSHAD history and milestones achieved by it, administrative hierarchy, categories of nominated entities, cost of accidents and benefits of OSHAD SF, accountability, comparison of OSHAD SF with ISO 45001-2018, OSHAD SF structure, ALAD OSH electronic application, implementation process, OSHAD audit and Form F, corrective action process according to Decree No. 42 of 2009, issued by the Crown Prince, Chairman of the Executive Council. Each sector regulatory authority is responsible for supervising the implementation of OSHAD system framework in its concerned sector. Initially in 2006, the EHS policy got approved by the Executive Council. Later on, in 2009, first framework version 1.2 was issued. In 2012, version 2.0 was launched. Then another big initiative was taken by OSHAD in 2015 to launch the ALAD, which is an electronic application used for reporting. Now the latest version is version 3.1, which was issued in March 2017. Administrative hierarchy. On top, we have Executive Council, which in turn formed the higher committee. Then we have OSHAD. It is a government entity and a competent authority. OSHAD has divided all the entities working in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi into 10 different sectors, called as Sector Regulatory Authority, SRA. The respective sector regulatory authority notifies the entities for the implementation of OSHAD system framework. As we mentioned in previous slide, Abu Dhabi Public Health Center has divided all the entities into 10 different sectors. Those sectors include Industrial Development Bureau, Department of Energy, Abu Dhabi Municipality, Department of Tourism and Culture, Health Authority, Abu Dhabi, Department of Transport, Center for Waste Management, Abu Dhabi Education and Knowledge Department, Abu Dhabi Food Control Authority. Commercial sector. For example, all the industrial facilities and plants come under the Industrial Development Bureau. Hospitals and clinics comes under Health Authority, and all the hotels and tourist destinations fall under Department of Tourism and Culture. The respective sector regulatory authority notifies the entities into 3 different categories: high risk, medium risk, and low risk. Depending upon the risk category, entities are bound to implement the OSHAD system framework. For example, an entity officially nominated by a concerned sector regulatory authority as high risk shall comply with all the applicable requirements of the OSHAD SF, including development of a management system that is fully compliant with OSHAD SF, and gaining approval from the concerned sector regulatory authority. An entity that is officially notified as a medium risk shall comply with the requirements of OSHAD System Framework, Mechanism 5.0. For entity notified as low risk, sector regulatory authority shall ensure at least one OSH inspection every 3 years. As we discussed about the requirements of entities nominated as high risk, their responsibilities include, but not limited to, meet the timelines for development and implementation of an occupational health and safety management system through ALAD, actively audit their own systems internally, conduct annual third-party audit for compliance, submission of quarterly performance reports, and OSH incident reporting and investigation through ALAD. If you are following any local or international standard, definitely it will have benefits. So let's see what are some of those benefits. It helps to improve your internal health and safety standards. It helps reduce injuries, illnesses and incidents at the workplace. It increases staff well-being and morale. It improves the business efficiency. It helps to maintain and promote investor confidence, and it helps to develop positive stakeholder engagement at all levels. There will be fewer, less stringent regulatory inspections if entities are failed to comply with the requirements of OSHAD SF, it will be considered as an offense. Enforcement activities will be pursued by authorities at emirate and federal level, including concerned sector regulatory authority, and by enforcing the requirements of laws under their control and enactment. Follow the reference appearing on the screen to get more knowledge about contravention to OSHAD SF. For example, if you are not complying with the requirements of OSHAD SF, and there is an accident in your workplace, what is the first thing comes into your mind? You will try to hide, try to negotiate with the victim, but still you are afraid that. What if there is police case? And then there will be legal action. It's not only about the legal action, there are other consequences as well, like direct cost and indirect cost. Indirect cost is always much higher than the direct cost. Few examples are paid sick leaves, extra wages or overtime. It may result in civil claims or retirements with enhanced benefits, fines and legal costs, cost of repairing or damage to machines, equipment or property, increased in insurance premiums, reduced productivity in the absence of systems, recruitment of new staff. OSHAD system framework comprises of different components which include OSHAD SF manual, management system elements, OSHAD SF mechanisms, occupational standards and guideline values, for example air and noise quality guidelines, codes of practices, and standard forms. There are some other guidelines documents added, for example, OSH, roles and responsibilities and structures, and technical guidelines, for example management of contractors, safety in heat. There are 9 elements which help to develop the management procedures of an organization. Roles, responsibilities and self-regulation, risk management, management of contractors, consultation and communication, training and competency, emergency response and management, monitoring, investigation, and reporting, audit and inspection, compliance and management review. Let's discuss about the first element, roles, responsibilities and self-regulation. It sets up few requirements for the entity to follow, like choosing the ultimate responsible person for the OSH and occupational health and safety management system related matters, defining the responsibilities for each designation, and then measuring the performance against defined roles and responsibilities. Similarly, each of the elements has a set of requirements which shall be implemented by the high-risk entities. Mechanisms. These listed mechanisms describe mandatory OSHAD SF implementation processes and procedures. For example, Mechanism 11, OSH, incident reporting. These mechanisms include relevant process maps and standard OSHAD SF forms, codes of practices, abbreviated and called as COPs. COPs are basically the best practices which an entity can adopt in order to provide safe workplace to employees. There are 54 COPs issued by Abu Dhabi Public Health Center. Maybe all of these 54 COPs are not applicable to your entity. It always depends upon the scope and activities of your organization. So, let's try to find out which COPs are applicable in your organization. For example, if we are into an industrial plant, what do you think? COP 4.0 First Aid is applicable or not? COP 36.0 Plant and Equipment is applicable or not? COP 45.0 Underwater Activities is applicable or not? OSHAD registration process. It starts with the notification from the concerned SRA. Once you are notified as high risk, the entity needs to develop and implement the occupational safety health management system. After the successful registration with ALADA, certain forms are required to be submitted like Form A, B and C. Form C shall be submitted along with the management system. Once management system is submitted, it will be reviewed by the concerned SRA. Upon their review, it will be either accepted or rejected with comments until you get the approval. ALADA is an electronic application for occupational health and safety established by OSHAD. The main purpose of this electronic application is registration and reporting. For the registration and submission purpose, few forms are required to be submitted like Form A, B and C. Form E is used for quarterly performance reporting, while E4 is used for the cost reporting, whereas Form G and G1 are used for incident reporting and investigation. Once the management system is submitted and approved, the next step is implementation of approved management system. Implementation requires to develop and implement training plan, risk register review and revision, setting up OSH objectives and yearly evaluation of objectives, conducting emergency mock drills and other arrangements to deal with potential emergency scenarios, conducting audits and inspections, conduction OSH committee meeting and management review meeting. OSHAD Audit. Audit is one of the major requirements set up by OSHAD SF. Entity must conduct the annual third-party legal compliance audit within 1 year from the date of management system approval, and then annually thereafter. Entity must ensure auditing company is registered in OSHAD. Auditors must be registered with OSHAD. Form F. Annual third-party compliance audit report shall be submitted through Form F on ALADA. All identified major non-compliances are filled in Form F along with corrective action plan including target date. Corrective action process. Once the non-conformances are raised by the internal or external auditors, these non-conformances need to be closed by formulating a team. The team will find and analyze the root causes and action plan shall be developed accordingly. The team is responsible for effectiveness of actions taken. Answer the following questions. The latest version of Occupational Health and Safety Management System is A. Version 1.1, B. Version 2.0, C. Version 3.1, D. All of above. Write the purpose of below forms. A. Form G, B. Form G1, C. Form E. According to which law entity have to follow the OSHAD SF? Write 3 benefits of OSHAD SF. Write the name of your SRA. Notification deadline for fatality and serious injury. What are the requirements for competency? Write hierarchy of control.